we're starting a new feature, which is recommending comics pertaining to particular characters. This week we decided to go Superman because we reviewed Superman this week. So the question is, if you're gonna read a Superman comic, if you're getting into comics, you wanna know, where am I gonna start with Superman? So for example, if you're gonna buy one collection, let's say,
yeah,
I would actually recommend starting with the greatest Superman stories ever told. It was published in, I believe, 88, 89. The reason I recommend it...
Okay, that was a graphic novel or a trade paperback.
It was a collection.
Where they collected...
Everything from 1939 all the way through to about 1989, there was a sampling of pretty much every period of Superman.
Yeah, and they did that for Flash and Batman and...
Green Lantern,
Wonder Woman,
Joker, everybody. The reason I think it's so good is because I really think that Superman is the one character that in every era he existed in, I think there was good stories. I think Batman kind of suffered in the 50s and a lot in the 70s. Superman, I can read Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. I can read, you know, the 50s stuff, the 60s stuff. I think it's all great. So I think it gives a really good sampling. So the greatest Superman stories ever told, you can get that pretty much anywhere.
Yeah,
Georgie.
For sure. I always, when I think of these stories, I always, and giving people recommendations, it should be cheap, and there should be good, fun reading. I think the one that you suggested, although it was fantastic, I love that book. It's a little bit of chores getting through the older stuff. John Byrne did a series where they relaunched Superman, so you actually get him right from crash landing, family, the whole thing, from Krypton. And this was in the late 80s. It was 88, I believe?
86.
86, sorry, mid-80s. And it just look for John Byrne, Superman, all of his Action Comics, all of his relaunch
Man of
stuff.
Steel.
He did Man of Steel, but he did Smallville, Man of Steel, Action Comics. He did a whole run through it.
You're right, yeah.
You get his first adventures with Green Lantern. You get his first adventures with the Demon. The writing, it can get really weak at certain points, but they're fun books, and the art is incredible, and you get a complete history sort of relaunched at that point, but a lot of that stuff is revolutionizing, come through and stuff like that. And again, you can find them in dollar bins because nobody wants these books.
And DC has completely ignored that history and rewritten it from scratch.
Absolutely, but
no.
No,
you're right.
No, they've taken a lot from it.
Yeah,
but anyways, it's a great place to read good, cheap Superman stories. I forgot what we were talking about for a minute.
One Superman story.
Well, speaking of Smallville, it's great to get to, but I'm going to get to another TV series. It's Superman, the animated series. I got to know the characters behind it. Like, I knew who Metallo was and Parasite, and I knew who Brainiac was, and I knew what they were to Superman, and I knew who Lois Lane and Bizarro, like I knew what Lois Lane meant to Superman, and Jimmy Olsen and Perry White is his name.
Perry White.
Even his boss, even his boss at work, like, and I got to know, and it also ties into Batman, the animated series. You get to learn about other DC characters in Batman, and even in here, Superman references, and in the movie, oh, Batman filled in for me, and this and that, and they have a close relationship. And I never really knew about Brainiac and how like vicious he was until I seen it.
You're a man after my own heart.
Yeah, no, that series is the best.
It is a great show.
I have
Brainiac's
so action figure in my mom's basement.
Yes.
We are doing...
And it's worn out for some reason.
We are doing what could possibly be the most fun thing on earth, which is review comic books. We'd like to thank our audience for joining us this week. And we'll see you guys again next week. Comic Book Syndicate Assemble. So we're sitting here with Mr. Chris Houghton, right? Creator of... What is your comic called here?
Reed Gunther.
What is it about?
It's a comic about a bear-riding cowboy. They travel around the Wild West fighting monsters and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Okay, and you're both the writer and the artist?
No, I'm just the artist, and my brother Shane writes it.
Okay. Yeah. Now, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 21, but I'm going to be 22 next weekend.
Because I looked through the comic, because I got a copy, and it's excellent. I think it's great.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Yeah, how long have you been drawing?
Almost 22 years. Come next weekend.
It's great to see somebody as young as yourself get into the industry because there's a level of skill there that even a lot of professionals don't have. Like, when I say professionals, I mean Marvel and DC established artists.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. I mean, Shane and I are both just trying to create a comic we both enjoy and that we'd want to read, so that's great to hear.
That's good. And now, where can people get this comic?
The best place to get it would be readgunther.com. You can order the comic online there, as well as read previews and the first full issue. So that would be the best place. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, well, I got my copy, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. So,
Comic Book Syndicate, assemble!